on this computer. There we go. Hello, everybody. Excellent, and welcome to our Money webinar, which is very exciting. Okay, so we've all said hello, and I've pressed the record button. I'm just checking. Yes, I've pressed the record button. So we are now recording. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to talk for a few minutes, and this is a little interactive, so I will ask you some questions. And if you can type your responses in the chat box, that will be brilliant. Very, very appreciative. Thank you, guys. All right. Okay. So, money. Today we're going to cover a very big subject, and for some of you, you'll want to go deeper with this. And the great news is that everyone that is here live today gets a free money mindset session with me, which is worth $150, and you all get that for free. You'll just need to contact me through Acuity to book that in. I've got your name, so I know who's getting a free session. So you get a free money mindset session, which is all about discovering your archetypes and just having a better idea of what's happening with your money story. Okay, so now this webinar is for you if you have challenges setting your prices. So for those of you who set their prices individually, and offer services, if you have challenges setting your prices, then this webinar is for you. If you have a tendency to over-deliver, then this webinar is for you. If there is more month, if there's more month at the end of your money, then this webinar is for you. If you're challenged by the money conversation, so if you're in a product or service industry and someone wants to return a product, if that's challenging for you, okay, so then this is definitely something that you want to have a look at. That's all back to money. If you're happy to give but receiving makes you feel uncomfortable, so you're happy to give presents, but when someone gives you something you feel a little uncomfortable, then this is about money. Remember, proximity is power. So you are the average of your 5 closest friends. So who are you hanging out with? Now that is also to speak to money as well. So we're the average income of our 5 closest friends, or the 5 people that we hang out with the most. So who are you hanging out with? Okay, so if you're stuck at the same income bracket, so say for instance, you're very happy, maybe you're earning $100,000 a year, but you've been there for 5 years and you want to earn more money, then this webinar is for you. If you let others handle your money, and I have to say that this is a lesson that I just recently learned with when I separated from Peter, I realized that I was letting him handle the money. So if you're letting others handle your money, then maybe this is something that you need to look at as well. If you've reached your upper limits, so that's if you have, you're earning more money than you think you're worth. Yeah. Oh, well, someone's not muted. Oh, who's that? I'm not quite sure who that is. Then this webinar's for you. So if you have, this is a really interesting one. So if you have purchased more than one wealth strategy, so these wealth strategies are where you're given an opportunity to pay an amount of money. It could be anywhere between $5,000 and $20,000, and these strategies are designed to make you money. If you've purchased more than one of them, then this webinar is for you, because it's about your mindset, about your money mindset is the reason why you're continually purchasing more of these wealth strategies and not working with the one that you've actually purchased. So today, we're going to talk about money mindset. We're going to talk about your money story. I'm going to have a sip of green tea before my voice goes. We're going to look about staying in the money zone. And I've got to put my glasses on so I can read. Okay, so what you think on grows. And and where your energy goes, where the attention goes, your energy flows. So if you're thinking about the lack of money, that's exactly what you're going to be continually to get. You're going to continue to get the lack of money. I'm sure all of you know someone, that might even be someone in your family, who is a hypochondriac. And aren't they always sick? They are, because that's all they're ever thinking about. So if you're in the mindset where you don't have enough money, or you're not paying the bills, then all you're doing is thinking more about that. So what we need is a pattern interrupt, and we need to change that. Your unconscious rules your world. Now, I love this analogy. This is a Freud's analogy, that our conscious is the 10% at the top, which is And then the 90% is your subconscious and your unconscious. And this is where we have the reoccurring thoughts, the behaviors, emotions, beliefs, identity, habits, feelings, recent memories, and also this is where your phobias and your addictions and this is where our locked-in behaviors come from. So this is like, okay, interesting. How does this relate to me and money? Well, two things. Because the stuff that's happening with money is always going to be underneath. It's going to be coming from the 90%. The great part about that is that your unconscious does not know the difference between the real and imagined. So remember from the workshop, we had the brain scan, and I'll pop that on the screen so you can see. This is where they had 3 different groups of people, and actually they were all children, and they scanned their brain. So the control group down the bottom did nothing for the 5 days, and then the mental practice. So what these kids learned to do is they learned to play a piano piece, but they didn't play it on the piano, they just did it in their mind. So they mentally played the piano. And then we had the kids that for the 5 days practiced playing the piano. Now, you can see from the brain scans, there is no difference between those that mentally practiced it and those that physically practiced it. And the same thing goes. So our subconscious and our unconscious does not know the difference between real and imagined. So yes, that's a challenge, but it's also a good thing. It's also a fantastic thing because it's going to give us the opportunity that we need to change those money mindsets. Oh, too fast. Okay, the challenge is if we don't address the underlying self-beliefs, then we'll sabotage and we won't be able to move forward. So let's have a look at what is your money story. So my money story, well, is ever evolving, but it was really, really complicated. And I thought I got to the bottom of money about 20 years ago. And, you know, life was really, really good. Business was great. Everything was happening fantastically. And then I hit my upper limit and I was earning about $8,000 a month, and I just crashed and burned. And I did that because what I believed I should have been earning and what I was earning weren't the same. So, you know, you can sabotage yourself at any particular level. So my money story, and I'm sure yours is as well, is ever evolving. And there's always another layer to it. So let's have a look. So what is your money story? Your money story is about what you believe about money. Basically, it's what you keep saying to yourself over and over and over again until you believe it. Yeah? So it's what you keep saying to yourself. Yeah? Most money stories are created from childhood, and well, that's where most stories are created anyway. For me, I've also noticed lots and lots of family patterns, and you know, the passing of my father just recently in July has brought to the surface a lot more family patterns as well. So, and I'll share with you later exactly what happened when my dad was passing away and how I believe I went through a process. All I know, I went through a process of changing my money pattern, but also historically my family money pattern as well. So let's have a look at this. Can you see we're flicking backwards and forwards? There we go. Here we go. All right, so now your beliefs and your thinkings and your attitudes create your behaviors, your actions, and then your results. So if you're saying, look, I don't really have a challenge with money, everything's okay with as far as money's concerned, my question for you is, what are your results? Are you living the life that you want to live? Are you earning the money you want to earn? What's your super look like? You know, we're all going to retire soon. Well, 20, 30, 40 years, depending on your age. But, you know, do you have the income that you need to retire on? Yeah, so basically, if you think that you're doing okay, have a look at your results. If your results aren't where they want to be, then we need to work backwards. Okay, so let's have a look at your money story. So this is where you're going to need to type some responses. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions and I'm going to get you to actually type your answers in here. Okay, so first of all, are you being paid what you're worth? No? No, no, okay, so we've got a couple of no's. So that's a good thing, because this question here is having a look at your level of self-esteem. So it speaks directly to your level of self-esteem, and says that if your answer was yes, well then it's your self-esteem that we'd need to go and have a look at. So if you're saying no, I need to be paid more, I'm worth more, then your self-esteem is in check, and that's a great thing. So this next question here is, what are the words, what are the 5 words you associate with money? So type in, what are the 5 words that you associate with money? Oh, well done, Valda. What are the 5 words that you associate with money? So it could be security, it could be wealth, it could be safety, it could be what are the 5? Opportunity, great, Sharon, love that. Freedom, fun, no stress, paying it forward, security, love that. Choices, success, great, love that, Sharon. That's fabulous, Yvette. So the 5 words that you associate with money. Now, here's an interesting thing. The girls that are on this chat now and the girls that will be listening to the webinar, if you're working with people on a multi-level marketing or direct selling level, and even if you're working with entrepreneurs, you really need to have a good idea of what their money story is, because that's going to set them up for sabotage. And it's really good as an upline or as a coach that you be on top of this before it actually happens. So how you'll discover this is checking their language around money. So scarce, difficulty, okay, security, work, needs more, okay, fantastic. So it's these words that are going to help us, because it's our language around the subject. Excellent, Rose. Opportunity, security, freedom, fantastic. Okay, it's those words that are going to help us develop the money story. Well, not necessarily develop it, but discover what it really is and see what's actually happening. Okay, so the next thing is, what are the 5 emotions that you think about money? So what are the 5 emotions you think about money? Some of you have listed emotions as some of the words. It's okay. It's basically to get language around the subject of money. Yeah? So what are the 5 emotions that you feel about money? So for me, you know, safe is always one and secure is always one for me. Emotions around money. Excellent. Okay, so while you're thinking and typing those things, you know, for me, thinking about rich people, you know, and how you interact with them. So when I was very young, my boss, when on my first job, when I was 16, 17 years old, he was inordinately rich, and I clearly was from a poorer background. And I noticed instantly that I felt uncomfortable in his presence and in the presence of his peers as well. So for me, when I was younger, definitely being around people that were very wealthy made me feel uncomfortable and made me feel less than them. So that was interesting. And I check my behavior now and I see that that's not there, but you know, I do notice it in some of the girls in my business. Yeah. Okay. Excited. All right. Excellent. All right, so emotions around money. All right, so the next question is, technical difficulties. Here we go. Okay, is it easy for you to make a lot more money? Yeah, is it easy or difficult for you to make a lot more money? Excellent responses, girls. Is it difficult or easy for you to make a lot more money? So right now, if you need to make a substantial amount of money right now, would it be difficult or challenging, easy, complicated? Yeah, difficult, challenging. Okay. All right, and so then the next question is, why would it be difficult, challenging? So for me, what used to come up is resources. You know, I just don't have the resources to make money instantly. Yeah. or I don't know how to make money instantly, would have been my response before. Yeah. Clients, okay, yep, not skilled, yep, okay. Yep, excellent responses, girls. Scared, yes, Cecile, I know, the scared one, yes, I've been there. Okay, so how hard would you have to work to make additional money? How hard would you have to work to make additional money? So I used to believe that I had to work very, very hard to make additional money. I believed that I had to work really long hours. I had to be up earlier than everyone, stay up later than everyone, get to the office before everybody. Yeah? So how hard would you have to work? Like 24/7, like burnout, I need to work smarter on my time. Yep, excellent. Okay. So then the next question is it possible to make twice as much money this coming year? Sorry, is it possible to make twice as much money as you did this year, next year? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Yvette, love it. Yes, yes, yes. Yep. Okay, yes. Okay, so you all agree. If I changed that and said, could you make 10 times the amount of money that you made this year, could you make that next year? If I said now making 10 times the amount of, okay. So it's interesting. So all these responses that you've given to these questions are telling the money story, okay? And then the next thing was, what would you have to do to actually make that money? So this exercise is about getting your languaging, your thoughts, your emotions around money and having a look at, I don't need that much. Funny, oh, no, that's funny. But you could give the money away. You don't have to keep it. You could give the money away. So this is about discovering what your language is around the money and discovering what your money story is. So I'll leave those questions up on in the Thrive Tribe so that you can go back and have a really close look at them again in your own time and to help put your money story together. Excellent. Okay, so with this list that you've got of responses, these are the beliefs that you have around money. And the question is, are they serving you? If they're serving you, then put a giant tick next to them. And if they're not, put a cross next to them or put a line through them. This list is now we need to have a look at which of these things on this list are things that we need to replace. So if you don't think that you can earn 10 times the amount of money, but you want to, yes, then that's something that we want to have a look at. Yeah. So what we want to do is see what's not working and create a new money story. Right? So we want to see what's not working and create a new money story. So remember the iceberg, okay? So like 90% of the things that are happening around money are happening underneath the surface. So the first thing is to get them above the surface. How do we get them above the surface? Ask yourself a lot of questions to bring that up so that you can have a look at it. Awareness is a job half done. Once you're aware of what your language is and your thought process is around money, then you can see why you're living a self-fulfilling prophecy. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is why the process is, the first one here is about having a look at your money mindset and having a look at your money story. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is have a look at the money zone. Woohoo! All right, so the first thing that we do with the money zone is after you've gone through and identified what your money story is and you've crossed off what's not working for you and highlighted what is working for you and changed the language around what's not working so that you've got a story that's going to support you, the very first thing that we do in your money zone is we set goals. Okay, so you need to set a money goal and it needs to be very, very specific, very specific. So I just recently did a money manifestation course and I said, okay, right. So this was Tuesday and I said, okay, by 5 o'clock on Thursday, I will manifest $500 cash in my hand. So I went through the process of doing the money manifestation. And by 4:59, I received a phone call that basically put $500 cash in my hand. I just had to go pick it up the next morning. So the stuff works, but you need to be very, very specific about it. You need to be very specific about what you want to do with the money and how much you want and by when you want it. So I'm really huge on vision boards, and you can see on the screen there, that's my vision board. That's my screensaver on my phone. And you can also put it as your screensaver on your computer as well. Also I use post-it notes everywhere. Post-it notes. I use post-it notes to remind me what my goals are, and you know that I use post-it notes for my affirmations. So I was just in the fridge before, and I opened the fridge, and even after moving, there's still a post-it note inside the fridge reminding me to say my affirmations. So you want to get very, very visual, very specific about your goals, and write them down. Also, if you're journaling, and I hope that you are journaling every day, write the amount that you want to be earning on the top of each page of your journal so that you're seeing it on a daily basis. Okay, so that's fine, Charlene. Set a goal. You know what? I've set goals before. Thanks for that. Nothing new. It might not be new. It's not new because everybody who's making it happen is doing this. They're setting goals. The next thing is probably opening your mind a little bit more to ask how. Now, I have done some work with some of the girls around money. And we sit down, and once we've identified the goals, is we write a list of all the ways that you can make money. Now, I was helping a lady recently, and she's in a different industry than we're in. And we came up with a really, really long list of things that she can actually do to make money that she hadn't even thought of. So some of the things that are on everyone's list, did you know that the average person has in excess of $5,500 worth of things they don't need that they could sell on Gumtree? I mean, that's just amazing. Did you know that you too can write your own webinars and you can sell them as well and make an income that way? There's things that you can do to make an income that you wouldn't even think of. Things that you're good at. So one of my clients, she's been reading tarots for 20 years. Well, she never thought of actually doing it for money. So she's now doing that to earn extra money on the side. So there's lots of things that you can do. And when I first went through this list, because I needed to come up with a lot of money very quickly, this would have been about 30 years ago. And one of the things that was on my list was face painting. So I had face paints and I had a bit of an idea. So I ended up doing face painting for kids' parties. So there's lots of different things that you can actually do to make an extra income. Yeah. In your current position where you actually are, let's have a look at that. If you're in a multi-level marketing company, you could introduce more people to the business. Yeah. You could book more shows. You could book more facials. Yeah. If you are in a client-based business, you could get more clients. Yeah. You could increase your prices. Yeah. So there's lots of things that you could do. Now, for the best thing for me, I feel, is doing a mind map and writing down all the really wild ideas that you could come up with of how you could make extra money. Yeah. Oh, one girl, yeah, selling her jewellery for one girl. That worked really well. Okay, here we go. Write a list. Okay, hear it. Okay, so what we need to do, now remembering that we are where we are because there's 90% of what's happening is underneath the surface, is that we want to change our money mindset by having that awareness around our story. But also now we want to hit it with all of the senses. Yeah, we want all of the senses to hit it. So we want to hear it. Now, how do you hear it? Is affirmations. So do your daily affirmations. And I use post-it notes all over the house to remind myself about daily affirmations. Money alarms. Set alarms off in your phone to remind you about the money that you're going to be earning. Yeah. Choose a ringtone that makes you smile. So daily affirmations and money alarms. Yeah. Okay, smell it. Yeah. So now for some of you, it might be a new car is the thing that's going to make you feel amazing. So, you know, hang the new car smell in the car. Yeah. Or you can, it might be wearing a lovely exotic perfume. It might be, sorry, someone's texting. They can't get on. That's okay. So it might be, well, So for me, when I was growing up, our house never really smelt very amazing. That was just something. Would either smell of cooking smells or it didn't smell amazing. So for me, I've always associated with beautiful fragrances as wealth. Yeah, when you walk into the Tiffany's shop, it just smells amazing. Go to David Jones, it smells amazing. So for me, smell is really, really important. And when I wanted my very first company car, I went and bought one of those little car smell things and put that in my shocking car that I was driving at the time, and within a space of 6 months I had the company car. So we're going to have a look at what's happening underneath in that 90% zone in the subconscious and in the unconscious, and we're going to get to that through all of the senses. Okay, the next one is a little bit but it works, and it is choosing a sign. So you go through the process of choosing a sign that the universe gives you, or God, whatever works for you, to show you a sign of abundance. Now, I've done this many times. The first time for me, it was feathers. So every time I saw feathers, it would remind me of abundance. So, and I saw feathers everywhere. You wouldn't believe where you can see feathers. I saw them everywhere. The next time I did it, it was rainbows. Yeah, so my sign was rainbows. Now, I've done this several times. The most recent one I did, for me, it was silver rings. So, so seeing silver rings was my sign of abundance, and they were everywhere. And at that stage, I was wearing silver rings, one on each hand, so I would see them every day. So I would feel abundant every day. So choose a sign that is an indication from the universe or God to you to show signs of abundance. And yes, it's a bit woo-woo, but money is a bit woo-woo. Okay, we're going to change your frequency. This is a big one. And the very first time I did this, I absolutely choked. And all of my money stuff came up in, a lot, in fact. So how this one works is that you, first of all, imagine that you've got $1,000 to spend. And you can spend that on anything. It needs to be only for stuff for you. You can't give the money away, and you need to spend the $1,000. So you can go through the process of collecting photos from wherever and putting together a collage of the $1,000 that you're spending. But you're going to be doing this every single day for 28 days. So the first day, you're going to spend $1,000. And what you'll do is you'll write it down. So you could write this in your journal. Then the next day, you're going to spend $2,000. And then the next day, you're going to spend $3,000, and then $4,000, and then $5,000, and all the way up to 28 days. And that is $28,000 on that last day. Now, during that entire process, you would have spent $406,000. Yeah. And just the resistance I had when I did this the first time, I was struggling to actually, now I can spend that every day, not a problem, but I just noticed the resistance and how my self-esteem and how my stuff came up when I was going through the process of spending that amount of money on myself on a daily basis. So what this is about, this process is about changing your frequency around money. Because the reason why you're stuck where you are is because you are a self-fulfilling prophecy. We all are. What you think on does grow. And if you're thinking about the lack of it, you're continuing to get the lack of it. Yeah. If you're stuck in a certain income bracket and you're not earning outside of that income bracket, you need to break that bubble. You need a pattern interrupt so that you can go to the next level. So changing the frequency, I love that process. The first time I did it, as I said, a bit scary. It was very challenging. The next thing is tracking your money. And I love this one. This is heaps of fun. I love to colour in, and I love nothing more with my mum who has dementia to sit down and actually colour in. And so what this process is you grab any of those colouring in books. Any one of them will do. I love the Bollywood ones myself, being a Bollywood dancer, but any of them will do. And each of the little sections, and you can see this one on the board here, each of the little sections indicates a different amount of money. So the same amount of money, but you choose the amount. So it might be $50. So each circle might be $50, or each circle, I don't know, if you want to play it small, might be $1. Playing it big, each circle might be 1,000. And so every time that money comes into your comes towards you, then you color that in. So you see how much money you're making on a daily basis. The idea behind this is taking you off of thinking about what's going out in the matter of bills and everything else that's happening, and making you concentrate on what's coming in. And what comes in also is the way you save money. So I was getting my car service the other day. It was going to cost me $800. Well, Peugeot are no longer in South Australia, so I could go to a normal place to get the car service, and they were going to charge like $300. That's a savings of $500. So it's not just the money that comes into you, it's the money that you save as well. So track your money. It's so important to go through the process. This is a physical process, it's an energetic process, and it changes the dynamics around money. The next thing is writing a love note. Now, for those of you who've been in love and written love notes, so you know how to do it. This is to write a love note. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can write a love note to money and see what your language is around money and how you feel about it. And that's really interesting. Stuff comes up there. If you're in a service industry or multi-level marketing or direct selling, you might want to write a letter to your ideal client. Yes? Because this is helping you bring to the forefront what would be an ideal client for you. So, you know what? If you really want to change things quickly, write a love letter to both. Write a love letter to money and write a love letter to your ideal client. Okay, the next one is act as if. Act as if. So, would $1 million you be doing exactly what you're doing right now? So, I remember when I first started this process, my legs were hairy, my toenails weren't polished. Like there was lots of things that needed work. And yeah, they're only physical things, but they were indications to me of wealth. So, so do you take care of yourself the way $1 million you would take care of yourself? Does $1 million you sit in front of the television? Does $1 million you eat ice cream? So, you know, act as if. So be in the presence. Remember, proximity is power. Be in the presence of people with money and do what people with money do. And the next thing is gratitude. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. So every single time money comes into my possession, so it could be I could see money on the ground and pick it up, or someone gives me money, whatever. Every time I get money, I say, thank you. I love money. Money loves me. Yep. So I even keep a pinky bag. Can you hear that? So every time I pick up money, it could be from the washing machine, it could be anywhere, I will put that into my piggy bank, and I will say, thank you for this sign of abundance. Yeah, thank you for this sign of abundance. And yeah, and it makes a massive, massive difference. Massive difference. All right. All right. So we've had a look at money mindset and what's working around that. And we've had a look at that you have an understanding that most of what's happening is unconscious, and if we want to change the results, what we need to do is change our thought processes. We had a look at the money story, and we gave you some questions to ask yourself so you can see your language around money and what the pattern is. And remember, with the money story, you've always got your family history there as well, and your family patterns. So I identified some patterns that went back generations. Oh, unbelievable. And they're family patterns. And then the other thing is, the last one is staying in the zone, staying in the money zone. And we have all of those activities to stay in the money zones. Thanks, girls, for listening to the webinar. It was really great to share with you. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is turn the recording off, and I look forward to the girls that are watching the recording. I look forward to either seeing you at the next one or hearing from you soon. Thanks. Bye for now.